Good morning, good-looking people, and you're good-looking because you're always looking, and of course, you are finding the good in everything and in everybody. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a great week so far. So today is the 14th of Teves, and today's Hayom Yom is really all about Tzadikim. How precious it is to see a Tzadik, to be in the presence of a Tzadik, not only seeing him, but being able to talk to them. Having, in my opinion, having pictures of tzaddikim in your home as well, because the presence of tzaddikim, they have an effect that can be everlasting on a person. Today's Hayom Yom is talking about the Shpoel Zayda. It's talking about the Maggid of Mezrich and the Baal Shem Tov and different experiences that the Shpoel Zayda had with the Baal Shem Tov. That the Baal Shem Tov once put his hand on the Shpoel Zayda's heart when he was 3 years old. And ever since that time, he mentioned that he had a warm heart. We talked about this on the 6th of, I believe, Tishrei, where we had we were talking about the ways of doing teshuvah, and we had the vav for V'ahavta l'reacha kamecha, which was about loving another Jew with all your heart, and we talked about a warm heart. And being that Vav Tishrei was also the yard side of the Shpoel Zayda, so we brought up the story there as well. You're more than welcome to take a look at the YouTube links, and it's a good one as well. So today we're talking about the gestures of tzaddikim. Also, we bring this up because in this week's parsha is where Yaakov sits up in his bed and he goes to bless Ephraim and Manasseh, and it talks about how he put his hands literally on their heads. And that this was a gesture, again, of a tzaddik making effect on another person. And in general, that whenever somebody needs something, or wherever they need an inspiration, A, if they're able to go to a tzaddik, fantastic. B, if they've met a tzaddik in the past, to go back to the memory of sitting in their presence, because that encounter alone will have an effect on that person and help them whatever they need. And again, having tzaddikim, pictures of tzaddikim in the home and around, again, has that effect. Let's read the Hayom Yom inside, and then I'll share a small story of the Rebbe and Reb Yoel Khan. So for the 14th of Teves, it says, the Shpoel Zayda was a man of ardent feeling, more intensely so that his colleagues, the other disciples of the Maggid of Mezrich, when he visited the Alter Rebbe in Liadi, in 1809 or in 1810, he related that when he was 3 years old, he saw the Baal Shem Tov, and he placed his holy hand on my heart, and from that time onward, I have felt warm. A mere gesture of a tzaddik, and all the more so seeing him or hearing his voice, should generate an effect that will never, ever be forgotten. Again, having that memory, having that encounter with a tzaddik, hearing a tzaddik's voice, listening to Torah from a tzaddik can have this effect on a person. There's a nice story here. It talks about how Reb Yoel Khan, which was a big chassid of the Rebbe, his father lived in Kfar Chabad, and his father once called Reb Yoel Khan, his son, to go to the Rebbe and ask for a bracha that one of their relatives was kind of going off the path and wanted a blessing for this relative. So Rabbi Yoel Khan met with the Rebbe, and he went and he asked for the bracha, and he gave the name, he gave the mother's name, and then the Rebbe said, how old is your relative? What's his age? And Rabbi Yoel Khan was perplexed, and he's thinking about the Rebbe's question, and the Rebbe looked at him and said, I see you're confused about my question, because the point I'm making is, the previous Rebbe, which was the Rebbe Rayatz, was in Israel in 1929. And I was wondering if your relative has ever met with the previous Rebbe. So Rabbi Yoel Khan thinks about it for a second. He says, of course, I'm sure he's met with him in the past. He was there at the same period of time. So the Rebbe looked back at Rabbi Yoel Khan and said, please tell your father, this chassid, if this relative has met with the Rebbe Rayatz, he may have ups and downs, but he'll be fine. That encounter alone is enough to keep your relative good in coming back to Yiddishkeit. So it's a beautiful story. It's a story that inspires us, that to listen to tzaddikim, to listen to the shirim from tzaddikim, to watch Rebbe videos. There's so much that's available on YouTube, and also to put nice pictures of tzaddikim in the home. Again, this brings inspiration and it helps us all out. Have a wonderful day. Have a great rest of the week. Talk more tomorrow.